All right, good morning. Let's go to work, James. Okay, so Trump's in the news again, of course. When is he not? This time because of his beatdown of CNN in a tweet, a video tweet. And it was a funny tweet, basically. If you haven't seen it, I don't know, you've been living under a rock, or you're not on social media. But there was a WWE event years ago, like 10 years ago, in which Trump, came up on Vince McMahon and, clotheslined him down on the ground and started pounding on his head. Fake pounding on his head, of course. Well, somebody took that piece of footage and superimposed the CNN logo over it, so as to appear that Trump was beating the crap out of CNN. And it was funny. I thought it was funny because it's true. CNN is getting decimated by Trump and by their own stupidity and their own hubris. I think that's the right word, hubris. Anyway, so of course everybody at CNN and everybody on the left is losing their crap over it, and screaming about how this is inciting violence against journalists. Which is rich. I mean, for the last, since his election, they've been calling for his death and doing everything in their power to undermine the legitimacy of his presidency. There's actually been violence from people on the left towards Trump, his surrogates, and other Republicans, and his supporters. CNN, nary a word. Those are all isolated incidents. Those have nothing to do with any of the rhetoric that's being put out by CNN and other media outlets, calling Trump Hitler-esque. Anyway. It's funny to see that kind of reaction from them. Of course, it's not surprising, because to CNN, they've done nothing wrong. Nothing they've done is wrong. Even though, they forced three journalists to resign over a false story. Let's see I guess what's most funny about it is the fact that the GIF, the little video clip of Trump beating down the CNN logo is true. I mean, their viewership, their market share of viewers has plummeted. Apparently it's the lowest. June was their lowest viewership of any month previous. So anyway, it's just kind of funny to see them getting all upset over it, while they defended Kathy Griffin, or I shouldn't say they defended Kathy Griffin. They distanced themselves from Kathy Griffin when the story broke about her holding up the severed head of Donald Trump. They ultimately let her go, but I mean, they didn't want to talk about it. They didn't want to mention it. They spent as little time as possible on it. And then ultimately, when the pressure became too much or too great, they had to let her go. But of course, they aired Kathy Griffin's press conference about, she's now the victim. How he broke me. Anyway. Now the question is, people are always putting out there, well, you know, are Donald Trump's tweets hurting his agenda? This is the big question that everybody's asking. He should really stop it because it's hurting his agenda. Well, how is it hurting his agenda? Exactly. I'm trying to figure that out. Do they mean that if people in the news media are talking about his tweets, they're not talking about his agenda? Well, they're not talking about his agenda anyway. All they talk about is anything but. If there's no bad news they can spin about Trump, they'll spin good news about the previous administration. I mean, they did a story on Obama's genes. Not his genetic material, but the jeans that he wears. You know, even when nothing's going wrong, they do stories about Trump of a negative context. The whole 2 scoops of ice cream thing. Donald Trump gets 2 scoops of ice cream, everybody else gets 1. Really? This is your story? So I don't know how that's hurting his agenda. Do his tweets alienate other Republicans who might be on board with his his policies? They see a tweet of him beating up CNN and they go, "Oh well, I simply can't support his border wall plan now. That was just beyond the pale." He's no different than the guy he elected. And I've always been one of these people who say, "Well, you know, he'll get elected, he'll calm down." No, I've never said that. I've always been one of these people who stood against that sentiment. Well, when he gets elected, he'll become more presidential. I'm quite happy we have a shit poster in the White House. I really am. I think, speaking as a shit poster myself, I like people who are honest and speak their mind. I know that, that's been decried as being, a stupid reason to elect somebody. But no, it really isn't. You should want your politicians to be honest. And quite frankly, I'm not reassured by a politician who talks around an issue. Obama was charismatic, and when he had a teleprompter in front of him, he was great. Wasn't so great off teleprompter, but when he was on teleprompter, he was great. And when he answered questions, he could circumnavigate the question better than anybody. And I know the people are going to say, well, this is embarrassing. It's not in keeping with the dignity of his station or his office. And I don't find him tweeting that video, that WrestleMania video, embarrassing. I don't find the tweet about him, going after Mika Brzezinski and Joe Scarborough unpresidential either. I really don't. They've been attacking him personally for months. Months, straight on, since he's been inaugurated. They call him a thug, a goon, mentally unstable, all of these things. Going after him personally. So him striking back personally, I fully, if he didn't do it, I wouldn't care. But that he did do it doesn't bother me at all. If he had said nothing to Mika Brzezinski or Joe Scarborough, I wouldn't care. But I completely understand why he tweeted that out about Mika and Joe. They've been, like I said, they've been attacking him on a personal level for months. I want to talk about an embarrassment. Let's talk about Justin Trudeau. There's an embarrassment. If anybody would be embarrassed of their world leader, it'd be Justin Trudeau. On this past Canada Day, he was giving an interview, or an interview aired of him saying words to the effect of, people who come to Canada, who choose Canada as their home, are more Canadian than the people who were born here. He didn't, I'm paraphrasing it precisely, but he didn't say that exactly, but it essentially came down to that. He was saying, you know, I'm envious of people who get a chance to choose to come to Canada. For them, you know, Canada means more than those people who take it for granted who were born here. First off, that's implying that Canadians who are born here take for granted the, you know, the good things about this country. And how can you be envious of people who come here as refugees? Their fucking lives were destroyed. They chose Canada. They had a lot of other countries to choose from. They may have chosen Canada, but they didn't choose Canada because they love the values. They choose Canada because it's the most generous to people who claim refugee status, or one of the most generous. Vice Chancellor of Germany said something similar. There were people outside an event protesting, you know, saying that they are cultural Marxists, you guys are communists, you guys are ruining this country. And this guy flipped them the bird. This Vice Chancellor of Germany flipped them the bird. And then he went on to say in an interview that people who criticize immigration in Germany should be locked up, should be thrown in jail for criticizing the immigration policies in Germany. People who have a genuine concern over the level of immigration should be thrown in jail. He also said, words to the effect of, immigrants have more claim to Germany than Germans do. Or words to that effect. Of course, I'm reading subtitles, and I'm paraphrasing those subtitles, and there may have been something lost in translation, but based on what I saw, that's what he said. So talking about embarrassing leaders, here's the Vice Chancellor of Germany and the Prime Minister of Canada saying absolutely disgusting crap about their country and their citizens, the citizens of the country that they run. And Donald Trump tweets a funny video, and that is, you know, that is ammunition for impeachment. That's hurting his agenda. It's a joke. Anyway. Thanks for watching.